Hello and welcome back to TNWKS, the Now We Know show, the show where we discuss a topic of interest, and by the end we will have learnt something new, and hopefully you will too. I'm Zak.
I'm Buzz.
And I'm Jack.
Yay! Jack's
back in the studio.
Once again
for this festive edition.
Hey.
All about Christmas movies.
Christmas movies, you say? Ooh, that sounds fun.
I came back at the right time.
If you enjoy the Now We Know show podcast, support Zak Wylde Productions on Patreon or join our members on YouTube for early access, ad-free content and exclusive episodes.
So here we are back in the studio. We've got Jack back.
Yeah.
Well, you've been missing for a while, Jack. And we missed you, man.
Where have you been?
I had to come back for a Christmas special, surely.
Well,
It's just
definitely.
tradition. Yeah.
And since you're back,
Yep.
have you brought something with you? I think
I
it's
have.
time for Weird and Wonderful.
One of my favourite segments of the Now We Know show. I have brought in a festive Weird and Wonderful.
A festive, weird and wonderful.
I walked
Well,
out.
that's exciting.
Where's my festive tutor?
Excuse me. Put it away. Right. My Weird and Wonderful is...
Stop laughing, Jack. It's already going wrong.
My Weird and Wonderful.
Yep.
Missing reindeer found after escaping from Elvedon Christmas Grotto.
Oh, hang on a second. I might have seen something on the news about
No,
it.
we just caught this earlier.
I think this was yesterday. I believe.
Oh, okay.
Right.
This was
There's
when
a lot of reindeer loose at the moment.
they're rising up. Rise of the planet of the reindeer.
I've watched that.
2 reindeer went missing after escaping from a Christmas grotto event, have been found at a country estate. The Elvedon estate in Suffolk said Blue and Blitzen had got spooked and jumped the fence on Sunday afternoon. External company Majestic Reindeer had brought them to the estate where they bolted and wandered onto the A11. Ooh.
Wow.
Elvedon, have you heard of that before? I don't know.
It's a place, Elvedon
In
Forest,
Suffolk.
yeah.
Cool. Elvedon's courtyard general manager, Denise Sharp, said they were happy that the company had got them back for Christmas.
Well, if they got over the fence, you know why? Because reindeer fly.
That's it.
They do.
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah, they were trying to get back to Santa.
Santa.
Exactly.
that's
He's
it.
missing his reindeer. He's going to be busy in the next few weeks.
So that probably held the traffic up a little bit.
Could have been worse. It could have been like, oh dear, what dear, that dear splat.
Yes. Reindeers too.
Cow.
Miss Sharp
Cow.
said they were finally found on the Elvedon estate, one of the biggest farms in the UK, owned by Lord Ivanir of the Guinness family. They went on quite a run, she said. We located them last night, but couldn't get close enough to bring them in, and then it became too dark.
Well, they
The
got
owner of
them.
Majestic Reindeer said she was just so happy to get the reindeer home.
Hooray.
Oh, I had a nice ending.
Let's have a happy,
That is
happy,
good. That is good.
happy ending.
Now, when I said cow, did
Yeah,
you
I
want to
know.
explain that?
Well, okay. Well, we went to Finland a few years ago, and part of our Finnish trip was to go see Santa Claus, and it was fantastic.
It was very good
It was
fun.
fantastic, and we ended up in between going to see Santa in this big log cabin, big lodge in the forest in the deep snow, and they were supplying us with food, and there was this wonderful grey stew, meaty stew, and it was like, and I said, "Oh, what's in it?" And all the answer was cow. And I'm thinking, that's not beef. It's not beef.
It's great.
It's great. And I think what it was is they were serving up reindeer because we were in Finland.
Oh.
But the whole place was full of children visiting Santa.
Oh, God.
So you don't really want to tell them.
Just eating Rudolph.
Carving up Rudolph.
So it was like, cow.
Was there like a moment's pause?
Yeah, don't tell. It's like, damn, I've been asked what's in the stew. quick thinking.
Not again.
Cow.
The only English word I know.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's definitely not cow. Well, yes. I don't know. Do you call a female reindeer a cow?
It might have been elf. You never know.
Yeah, it could have been elf. The bad ones.
Yeah.
The bad elf.
The bad
That's where the
elves
naughty
get cooked.
children go.
That's it.
Oh,
That's
God.
what Krampus. Because let's face it, we're recording this on the Krampus night.
That is very true.
Okay, so when Krampus takes the children, they end up in the Christmas stew, don't they?
In Finland.
To be eaten by other children.
By the way, if you haven't listened to the Krampus episode that we did it last year, so check that out.
Yeah, go for it. So yes, it is Krampus snacked. So beware, you naughty children.
Yes, if you're listening on the day of recording.
That's it. Anyway, we are talking about Christmas movies.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we've done a few things. We've got our own Christmas movies we want to talk about. These are kind of suggestions for the listeners that what sort of Christmas movies, if they haven't seen any, what might be a good Christmas movie. I think we've got some controversies in here as
Yeah,
to
yeah.
what is a
A
Christmas
debate,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to discuss.
I also stuck on social media. I asked a lot of people for their feedback as to what they consider their favourite Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And in fact, we were at the barber's yesterday, and I asked the barber, "Oh, what's your favourite Christmas movie?" And after thinking for a moment, he said, "That would be Indiana Jones." At which point I thought, that's a strange Christmas movie. And he explained, no, because it's on every Christmas.
Right,
It's,
right, okay.
So I suppose, depending on how you look at Christmas movies, but I think we're more concerned with movies that you see as also containing Christmas.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's something I'd like to pose the question of, is
Yep.
what do you consider to be a Christmas movie? What level of Christmas does it need to be? Can
Yeah.
it be like one scene that's set at Christmas? Can it be a film that's
can
just...
it be a reference to Christmas?
Can it just
in
be
some
a
way?
film
a
that's released at Christmas.
Can it be a film that's just like snowy generally?
Just generally got some
General
snow.
snow.
Well, if it snows,
Well, yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
there
So-
are certain movies that they might have snow. But no, because
The
I mean,
Thing.
yeah, I was going to say, but what's the thing? I don't think Christmas.
I mean,
But there's a lot of snow in it.
I'd watch that at Christmas. That sounds great.
Yeah, you'd watch it at Christmas, but it isn't necessarily a Christmas movie. But you don't really need to watch The Thing to watch it as a Christmas movie when there are so many splendid Christmas horror movies out there.
Yeah.
That is
are
very true.
based
That
on
is very
Christmas.
true.
we need to figure out
I'm
some
sure
sort
we're
of
gonna cover
gauge,
some of them.
some sort of gauge as to whether it's like mega Christmas movie or barely a Christmas
Yeah,
movie.
Well, that's what we're going to discuss in this
Yeah.
episode, and so we'll chuck some of the good old classics in there, and maybe come out with what we feel is our favourite Christmas movie. So that
What-
could be what Christmas movie makes you feel really Christmassy
What do
watching
we
it,
define?
or which movie you just say, it ain't Christmas unless I see it.
What do we define as a Christmas movie? Like, again, as Jack said, how Christmassy does it have to be a Christmas movie?
I think at the centre, at the event horizon of the Christmas,
That's not Christmas. That's definitely not a Christmas movie.
the event horizon of the Christmas sphere. Okay, we have films that are set at Christmas.
Okay, yeah, that's
So I would
maybe-
say that is the
that's
pinnacle.
that's the hub. Isn't
Yes.
it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And then
that's
you've
that's
got
the
the-
centre of the spider's web, as we
Yeah, exactly. And then
how many analogies are we
the
going to
I like a metaphor. The further you go out,
Yeah.
you know, you've got films
kind
that
of
are
the more
like
tenuous they can be.
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
So
like-
if it's got like we
you
said earlier,
didn't
like
you
a,
say Prometheus?
Prometheus
It
has a Christmas tree.
Exactly.
feature
So
in it.
where
I think-
does
I
that
think-
fit on
I
the
think
web?
that's really on the edge.
Yeah,
I mean, the same thing could be said about Rambo First Blood. They
Batman
put up
Returns.
Christmas tree in it as well.
Batman Returns.
Yes,
Yes.
that was very Christmassy.
Okay, so we're
Is that-
getting
is
closer
that-
to
is that
the
one-
end.
is
Yeah,
that-
because that's very prolific, that Christmas kind of feel
Is
throughout
that
the entire
Batman
film.
Returns? Is that the one with?
The Penguin.
Yeah.
Catwoman.
Not Mr.
Yeah,
Freeze.
no, that's kind of got a Christmas feel about it.
The
Yeah.
one that Batman's barely in.
That's the one where the scene I remember that sticks out most for me is when he's trying to he takes his mask off.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he's down
He
in the
just kinda
sewers
rips it off.
and he rips his mask off?
Yeah.
And suddenly the panda eyes have disappeared because obviously you can see that his eyes have got loads of black makeup on, and then he pulls the mask off and suddenly Bruce Wayne's got no makeup on. So how does that work?
Isn't that the film that was ruined for you by the next door neighbours?
Yeah, next door neighbours. I was going to go and say, I can't wait to see. Love Batman. Everybody loves a Batman movie. Going to see this Batman movie, and literally the day before we were going to the cinema, I went over to the neighbours. Their family came round, and the daughter-in-law said, "Oh, we went to see the new Batman movie." And it's like, "Oh, right, okay." Yeah, oh, I didn't like it when the penguin died in the end, and sunk into the water, and all this black blood's coming out, and it's like.
Just make sure he doesn't.
Harumph.
Make sure he doesn't show you his flipper trick.
What?
It's what he
It's
says
been a
to
while.
Catwoman.
It's been a while since I've seen
I'm gonna
it.
show him my flipper trick.
Oh my god!
Anyway,
is that Christmassy? I don't know.
kicking it off with Batman Returns.
I didn't expect to go there, but that's where we went.
There we go. Okay, I'm gonna grab my phone because that's where I've got my my list of things
I'm also gonna
from social media.
Interesting.
bring out
Okay.
my one as
You
well.
guys-
Because I do have a list
Okay.
of what I consider to be
So
Christmas movies.
I asked people just to give me their. I said, "What's your favourite Christmas movie and why?"
Mm-hmm.
And so from Liam Redmond, okay, his is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, that's on my list.
And
That's
it's
quite
simply because
a
it's just
comedy,
so
isn't
funny.
it?
Yeah, and that one, I'm just trying to think what year that came out at.
I think it was 80s, at least early 90s maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that's 1989. I've got it on my list. 1989. But yeah, I mean, as a classic, as
Yeah.
far as I'm
I
concerned.
can't say that I've actually seen that much.
Is it
Right.
also technically a sequel? because there's National
There's
Lampoon.
quite
Oh, there's National
there's
Lampoon's
quite a few of
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
vacation movies,
Hmm.
and that was obviously the Christmas
And
vacation.
they did that awful remake, just called Vacation. It was awful.
Is that what that's based on?
Hmm.
Oh,
And then we've got James Leaper. He came back with A Christmas Carol 1984 with George C. Scott.
Right. I remember watching that
Okay.
at school, I think.
I think we're going to cover probably A Christmas Carol quite a bit in this
One of mine is
conversation.
one of my favourites is A Christmas Carol film.
It's because there are so many versions of that stroke Scrooge.
Do you know what
Okay.
my-
yeah.
And
That is the Christmassy kind of spectacular.
Can I tell you my
film.
favourite Christmas Carol?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So my favourite Christmas film of all time is The Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I've got that one down. I'm
Yeah,
sure,
that is
sure
very
the, sure the
Christmassy.
Muppets came in.
Let's get that in early.
Is that
Yeah.
the one with Michael Caine?
It
Our
is
good
indeed.
old squatching specialist, our cryptozoologist Glenn, he came back with A Christmas Carol as Muppets Christmas Carol as being his most favourite Christmas one.
Brilliant.
Then I've got Sarita Muldoon, who's over in, I nearly said Liechtenstein then, but it's not. It's the other place beginning with L.
Luxembourg.
That's it. The Nativity. Now, that's one I
Yes.
haven't seen.
Granny watched that last week.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman.
Very
no,
good,
I've
yeah.
not seen that. So
I think there's like 3 or 4 of them.
Have you
now.
seen that one?
I have, yes, several times. My mum works in a nursery, and it's obviously set in like a primary school,
Right. So
a primary school nativity. So it's
it
yeah.
sounded like
It's one of her
the-
favourites.
From the description she gave me, it sounded like I'm going to have a look at this movie.
Yes, and
Is it
David.
I think it's a comedy.
Yes, David Tennant's in the sequel or the third one. David Tennant's in one of them.
Hmm. Third one, I think.
Yeah. Where's my donkey or something?
That's it. Yeah.
And then we dive into the darker side of Christmas with Kelly Albrighton, who comes back with Krampus.
Oh well, there's so many Krampus
Yeah,
movies.
yeah,
We
so-
did
See,
an
do we-
entire podcast on Krampus movies
movies.
last year.
But we can cover some of
Okay.
this here.
I think we need to keep the Christmas horror films as like its own section because there's
Okay.
so many.
Well, yeah, but then of course we'll get to this big discussion in a minute.
Yeah.
Because just as much as you've got Christmas horror movies, which are very Christmassy,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, they're very Christmassy. You also have Christmas action movies.
Yeah.
You see, and
I
that
mean,
was-
I am wearing a
Yes.
quite a action movie reference.
Yeah, we'll come up with that reference
jumper,
in a
aren't
moment.
I?
But I think we should go through the kind of typical like
The light-hearted ones.
yeah, but what you'd expect to see
The,
at
the
Christmas.
warm feeling
Yeah.
of Christmassy
Okay,
joy.
So one off the top of my head, It's a Wonderful Life.
Now that's
is
an
one of the,
interesting one because
Possibly one of the first sort of Christmas films.
I know that that one I haven't seen, and I've put that off for many years watching it. But I know that when we had Grace in the other day,
Yeah, that's-
in the
that's one of her
studio, that's
family's
one of her
favourites.
favourites.
One of mine.
And so it kind of pushed me to go and say, okay, I'm going to watch this. Now, the reason I haven't watched it, and I'm going to bring, I don't want to bring things down a bit, but it's because I've always seen scenes portrayed on the clips of it on the TV about this chap called George who's
Yeah.
going to commit suicide and throw himself off a bridge. And having lost a couple of people in my own family
Yeah.
to that
Right.
scenario, I've never really felt the urge that I wanted to see this movie that's based around somebody
Yeah, it's
who's going
understandable.
to commit suicide.
Yeah.
But now I've watched it. It is a fantastic Christmas movie. It's got the sentiment in it is brilliant. It's really Christmassy. I mean, you can't get away from it. I can see why everybody loves this movie, and I'm not going to knock it at all. I had a little bit of issue with the ending because
Right.
the bad guy gets away with everything.
Yeah, I suppose. But
And,
it's,
and I'm more used to Christmas movies like Christmas Carol, where the bad guy sees
Yeah.
the
the
error
light.
of his ways.
The errors of the ways. And in that movie, it's kind of like the bad guy still doesn't get resolved. I think they need to do a remake and just.
well,
like,
they did the colorized version. So
did they? But
yeah.
I don't suppose the story changed.
Don't think so. They just colorized
It's
it.
just colorized. So it's just the bad guy got away, and that kind of miffed me a little bit.
Yeah, I
The
think
poor old George, after all the things he went through, and the guy still nicked his money.
I don't think it's the bad guy's story though. It's George's story, isn't
It's
it? And his
George's story.
redemption and his sort of change between being like he's not focusing on his family. He's focusing
No,
on
no,
his
he's focusing on the community.
yeah.
And obviously it's the community that come back and help him out at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and that's great. And it's a real Christmas moral story, a
And
bit like Scrooge.
when a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Yeah, there you go.
I haven't actually seen It's a
Oh.
Wonderful Life, so I don't get that at all.
Wasn't it the other? Wasn't it Peter Pan as the opposite? If you say I
Uh,
don't believe in fairies, a fairy dies.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's that. Oh, ow.
I do
Oh
believe
dear!
in things.
You just killed a fairy.
Oh no.
That's not very Christmassy at all.
No, I think we need a bell in here.
We do have a
Excuse me.
Krampus bell.
Oh, we do.
We do.
Yes, on the Christmas tree. Anyway, so yeah, Wonderful Life, excellent movie, good start.
So you were talking about Christmassy action movies.
I was.
I think we were going to talk about sort of the classics first.
Okay,
weren't we?
okay,
to start with.
okay. Sorry.
Let's not jump too far.
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm going to jump too far. So I'll just go through a quick list that I put down. The Santa Claus, 1994.
Yeah, the Tim Allen.
Tim
one?
Allen.
Is that the one
yeah.
where he's on the roof, then he falls off,
off.
and then he becomes Santa?
He takes Santa's card or something.
Are there like 3 or 4 of those?
And you got
now?
the Santa Claus 3 where he fights Jack Frost.
I thought it was the second one.
I can't remember.
Now, this one for me is a classic Christmas movie for kids,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't see it as a Christmas movie.
Okay.
And that is...
How?
No, not the Santa Claus. I'm talking about the next one.
Oh, the next one.
Which is Gremlins.
That's a Christmas movie.
See,
Yeah, I've got that.
Gremlins is set at Christmas.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
so
Even though
Christmas.
it's like a horror movie,
Yeah.
it's when they did movies for kids really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they
It's interesting you say that because Gremlins is such an iconic film, but it doesn't really get mentioned in the Christmas list of like movies.
But
does it?
isn't that on like the promotion? Doesn't the Gremlin have like a Christmas hat?
Yeah.
And
Like bursting out of a box or
yeah,
something?
the sad story in it is the girl's father got stuck in a chimney.
That's quite dark.
It is
Yeah.
well, that's it. The whole thing is quite dark when you think about it, because
Yeah.
the whole town's been
I mean, they are
overrun
they
by
are murdering
goblins
people, aren't
and
they?
murdering people.
Joe Dante, isn't it?
So yeah, Gremlins. I think that's a classic Christmas movie. We've already said National Lampoons. Scrooged with Bill Murray in
Yeah,
1998.
Again, another one I
See, a
haven't
lot
seen.
of people like that movie, and it's never really. The only bit I like is the squeaky. Is it the Ghost of Christmas Present? She's got a very squeaky voice, and she's always
Yeah.
smacking him.
Yeah,
which is
it gets
quite
quite
humorous.
irritating. Yeah.
It's irritating, but he keeps getting punched by her all the
Do you know,
time.
in my mind, I always
It's
get that film mixed up with Groundhog Day. They just
Oh,
merge and
just
well,
merge, go round
merge
and
into one.
round and round.
I've seen Scrooge 50 times in a row.
There you go. What about Miracle on 34th Street, 1947?
1947,
Yeah.
interesting.
Now,
Because there's
that's
a
a
remake.
classic.
I think there's 2 remakes, isn't there? There's one in the 80s, and then there was one in the early 90s with the girl from Matilda. And Richard Attenborough.
Richard Attenborough.
Yeah.
I do remember that one, but yes, that's where.
Can't believe the last 3 films I haven't seen.
You haven't seen. All right, one you must have seen, which is like a classic Christmas movie,
Okay.
is A White Christmas, 1954,
Have not
Yeah.
seen
with
that.
Bing Crosby.
Have not
Bing
seen
Crosby. That's the famous.
And the other chap who plays the court jester. Can't think of his name. Oh, it'll come to us. He's really funny. He's done loads of movies.
I've seen The Court
I can't
Jester.
remember his name.
Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Oh,
We'll
the
get
lis-
it halfway
the-
through
the
this
listeners
episode.
are going to be
Yeah,
screwed
listeners,
now.
if you don't understand what the name of this person is,
Yeah, but
please
what do you
comment
think
below.
about White Christmas? Now, that's an interesting one because they go to a hotel which is going to close down because it hasn't snowed, because it's meant to be a skiing place.
Is it? Is
And,
it?
So it's The
it just
Shining.
snows at the end.
So it's The Shining.
It's kind of it's The Shining.
Is it? Is it safe to say that that's now more famous because of the song?
Because of the song.
Yeah.
But it has become like a just a classic Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Everybody should see the White Christmas.
Interesting.
Danny Kaye.
Yeah.
Just popped out. Sorry, just popped out.
Interesting interlude.
Yep.
Do you generally have like a set of Christmas films that you'll definitely watch every year?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
very
Interesting.
much
Are we
so.
going to get to those, or do you
Yeah,
want
we'll
to...
get to
to
those.
them,
Okay,
we'll
we'll
get
get
to
to those. Okay, I'm going to run in another one here. A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of
haven't-
people like that
I haven't
because
properly seen it.
they kind of it runs. You run up to Halloween,
It's
so
the
you
perfect film to watch between Halloween and
yeah,
Christmas.
so you watch.
So you're
the
watching in
Halloween one.
November.
Yeah.
What's the Halloween one? With,
Halloween Town.
No,
Oh.
no, that is Nightmare. Yeah. I see what
Yeah,
I mean. Yeah, I was thinking, isn't there another one that's got?
Corpse Bride.
No, it's similar. Or am I getting them mixed up?
Franken-
Yeah, Corpse Bride. Yeah,
Corpse Bride.
that's the one.
Frankenweenie.
Yeah.
I watched,
Frankenweenie.
I watched that. That was funny.
That's about a dog, by the way, not anything else.
But yeah.
I mean, the internet
Nightmare
does some
Before
weird
Christmas,
things.
which was actually 1993.
Yes.
So a lot of these movies actually are kind of not
Yeah.
new movies, are
Yeah.
they? Of course, Home Alone.
Interesting fact about
1990.
Nightmare Before Christmas, actually.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Before we
Um,
do Home Alone,
Sorry.
that's it.
Tim Burton was actually originally working on Fox and the Hound at Disney.
That's the animated one, wasn't it?
Yes. About a fox and a hound.
Yeah. really?
Yeah.
Again,
Well,
And,
I haven't seen that.
Well, they
he
make
was
friends.
he was an animator on that, and he was doing a lot of drawings. And the higher up said, actually, these drawings are a little bit too scary for children. We don't really want to put this in our family-friendly Disney film. So they saw his talent, and they gave him a budget to go and make his own film. And he went and made Nightmare Before Christmas, which arguably is now more iconic than the Fox and the Hound.
Yeah. So, well, there you go.
And he's just been quite bizarre ever since. But
Bless him.
and he directed Batman Returns, so
Yeah.
we've come full circle.
And Dumbo.
And he's still
not
married
Christmas
to.
I know.
He's still
I
married to
worked on
Helen
it.
Bonham Carter.
No,
No, they got divorced.
I
didn't
think
Oh
so.
no.
I thought,
Oh,
Actually, saw him the other day.
I thought they made a perfect couple, really.
Yeah.
She's a bit nutty in a good way.
What was Sweeney Todd? Did you ever watch that?
Yes.
That was good.
Oh, that was with
Tim Burton movies now.
that was with what's it called, isn't it? Captain Jack.
Johnny
Johnny
Depp.
Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Demon Barber.
But they were all singing, weren't they?
It's a musical, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of an.
Anyway,
odd one.
Christmas.
Christmas. Right now, this one I don't know if you guys
Come
have
on,
even seen this
please.
one.
Can it be a Christmas movie I've actually seen?
Okay, just try it. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, stop motion animation, 1964.
There's a bit of a creepy vibe about
Can't
it.
say that I've seen that.
There's a creepy vibe about that film. I
Yeah,
always
good.
think it's got a bit of a weird, janky sort of
Yeah.
stop motion thing to
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Bambi versus Godzilla.
Right. Okay.
it. Santa Claus versus the Devil.
It's ringing a bell.
I think that's the thing, isn't it?
I don't know.
I
Santa
know
Claus versus
Santa
the Devil.
Claus
That sounds
versus
more
the
up my
aliens.
street.
Santa Claus
Conquers
the Martians.
Conquers Mars.
There is a film called Santa Claus versus the Devil because I've seen it on
Right,
TV.
okay.
It's
What
very
about
old.
this one? All right. The Muppet Christmas Carol.
I
We've
have-
mentioned it
yeah,
already.
I've seen it.
In,
Yeah.
One of
this
my
is
I have
Glenn's
seen it.
favourite
I
one.
remember seeing that in year 4 at primary school.
Okay, but is that a lot of people? It's not one. I mean, yeah, I like it, but it's not one of the ones that I have to go and watch every
No.
Christmas to make it Christmas for me. You know, but a lot of people, it's not Christmas unless they've watched the Muppets Christmas Carol. So
yeah.
what's special about that movie?
Like the candle, not the rat.
Eh?
Oh, that's a reference to the rat character, isn't it?
I'm the one quoting these films,
Is he
guys.
called
Come on.
Ratto?
Come on, we're supposed to
What's
be
he
movie
called?
fans here.
Ratto?
That was actually again another 1992. That was okay. A little bit more
To
closer
be
to
honest,
home.
sorry, you asked about Muppets Christmas
Yeah,
Carol.
I did.
For me, that's a film that I've just grown up watching. It's one of my older sister's favourite films, so we always had that on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Michael Caine for a start is a very good Scrooge. Great music. Obviously, the Muppets are fantastic in whatever they do. And the Ghost of Christmas Future is really scary.
Yeah.
Really
I
creepy.
got that.
Okay, let's just hold it there on my list because you mentioned about Michael Caine being a really good Scrooge. And to go back to the Christmas Carol for a moment, there are so many Christmas carols. One of the classics I've got down is Scrooge with Alastair Sims from 1951. You know, so it's a black and white one that everybody likes. But we have a lot of Christmas carols, animated Christmas carols.
The Disney
Well,
one.
that was one of the ones that the barber mentioned the other day. That was
the
the
animated
Jim
one.
Carrey
Oh
animated
Christ! Yeah, that came around the same time as Polar Express, which is another.
Oh, he likes that one. The Bob
Yeah.
liked that one as well
But-
because he said, "I said, what's the best thing about Polar Express for you? Well, why do you watch it?" He said, "Tom Hanks."
Yeah,
So there you go.
it's not aged. It's
That's
not
the
aged
answer.
great. We'll get to Polar Express actually, because
Okay.
I have an issue with it.
Okay.
But the Christmas Carol one, it was at a time where they were trying to do like kind of mocap, but with 3D animation, and it's aged really badly.
Has
It's got a very uncanny valley to it now.
That's,
if you watch
that's,
it.
that's not the one that had Kate Winslet singing in it, is it? Or is it? I'm sure she sang in animated.
Possibly. I
Anyway,
can't remember.
whatever. Go anyway. Mention you said
Polar Express.
Polar Express. What's
the
weird about it for you?
the boy, does he have a name? The main character doesn't have a name,
Okay.
but there's a boy on the train who snuck onto the train because he's like a
Wasn't he
poor.
like a little blonde kid?
Yeah, he's a poor kid who doesn't get presents every year.
Mm.
So he goes and meets Santa. But my issue with that is, if Santa exists in that universe, why is he not giving him any presents?
Yeah, this is a fair point.
And there's also a moral. He gets the bell off the sleigh, and if you can hear the bell, I don't know why I'm doing this gesture. If you can hear
He's shaking his hands, ladies and gentlemen.
if you can hear the bell, you believe in Santa. But then,
If you can't hear it.
if you can't hear it, you've lost the magic.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
So none of the parents can hear it.
Oh right, because of course adults we all grow up, don't we? And we
Yeah.
lose the spirit of Christmas.
But there's presents all around the tree.
Uh-huh.
So Santa's been. So where do the parents think the presents have come from?
Well, okay.
You're analysing this a lot.
Well, I got told off for analysing "Is a Wonderful Life" too much the other day.
Sorry, it is a kid's
so I
film,
do
so-
apologise to everybody who read my post on that one. But yeah, no, that's a fair point because I have an issue about Christmas presents under the tree
Interesting.
because
Okay,
it's
why
like
was that?
why do people put Christmas presents before Christmas?
Oh, yeah, that.
under the tree.
That's weird.
Because that's kind of like telling the kids, well, Santa's already been, but it's not Christmas.
we always used to do family presents, and then Santa's been, and you have
That's
like
like
more
Santa's
presents when you wake up in the morning.
You see, whereas I grew up and we'd have no presents visible. Okay.
Just a piece of coal
just
and
a
an
piece of coal.
orange.
No, that's it. In a sock
in the day.
over the coal fire. That's it. And so you'd have the tree and everything. And of course, that was the excitement. There was no presents to be seen. Nothing
Until
to
Christmas
be seen.
morning. Yeah.
And so we'd go to bed, and then we woke up in the morning, and we'd each have a sack. And we actually, to be fair, as a child, we never had, as a family of 4 kids, we never ever had presents under the tree. It was always we woke up in the morning, and we had a sack full of presents at the end of the bed that Santa had delivered. And it was like you grab your sack and then go and jump on the parents' bed and stop sniggering. Your sack of presents.
Oh, no.
It's Jack.
No, Jack.
Sorry,
come
no,
on,
no.
you've ruined
I
it for me.
You ruined my childhood memories. And you jump up and down on mum and dad's bed and
After
say, "Look,
grabbing your sack.
I've got a sack full of presents." And of course, then we want to unwrap the presents. Everything was all wonderful. I always felt it was maybe more of an American thing because I used to watch, as a kid, we used to watch things like the Tom and Jerry Christmas specials. Where Tom's always trying to get Jerry, and Jerry would be like cast out into the snow and freeze, and they made up because it was a Christmas special. But they always already had presents under the tree. So I kind of wonder if that's kind of an American thing. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know. But anyway, I just always wondered why presents appear under the tree before Christmas. But there you go. So talking about the Scrooge films, okay, that brings me the opportunity. You said earlier, Jack, about there are certain movies that we always want to watch at Christmas. And
one of them.
One is the 1970s Albert Finney Scrooge.
Yes.
I think that's
that is the musical.
Right.
Yes,
Scrooge.
that is awesome.
And if you...
I've actually seen that.
In my own personal view, if you want a Christmas movie that's based on the Christmas Carol, that brings together everything.
It's very feel good in the end.
Really feel good, and you literally can't help singing along with the songs in it, and that is the musical.
I remember
Scrooge.
year after year, most Christmas Eves we would watch that.
Yeah, there's a really teary bit with Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
Very, very upsetting. Again, the Ghost of Christmas Future is quite scary in that one.
Yeah.
And it all works out well in the end, but there's some brilliant numbers, and the dance routines are superb.
And then the sets and everything
Sets
just really work so
really,
well.
really good. So for me, that's number one of my list of must-sees.
Shout out to the Blackadder Christmas Carol. That's very good as well.
Yeah, well, actually, yes.
That's funny.
Actually, yeah, you say that. That throws me back to It's a Wonderful Life. Because he, in the Blackadder Christmas special, he's being really nice to everybody and suffering for it. And it's only when Robbie Coltrane says, "Oh, you had some really despicable, ancestors," and he's going, "Oh, showbiz. Oh, I can't show a coat shoes." So he goes, "Woo!" and it's like, and goes and sees his despicable ancestors, and then discovers from Robbie Coltrane that if he stays the way he is, then he'll become, like in the future, the Baldric to Baldric, who's the chief,
the overlord,
of the
universe.
universe. And it's like, so what you're saying is, if
mean-
I'm bad and mean, I'll get everything. And he's going, but that's not the point.
That's not the point of this.
That's not the point of it. And it gave me exactly what you just said. It gave me the feel that watching that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, because the bad guy goes, "I'm just going to keep being bad," and he ended up being $8,000 better off at the end of the movie.
And a cameo from Nicola Bryant, who plays Perry in Doctor Who. So
That's
there's the
Oh yes,
the obligatory Doctor Who reference
Yes.
of the
There
nomination.
you go. Anyway, so back on with my list.
Yeah, but
What?
what was your next one? What is your next one?
My next one, I'm almost there, when it comes to these, is, you're going to love this one, Love Actually.
Oh, come on.
I mean, it's one that
It's
we watch in my
2003.
family
I've
very
never
often.
caught that on the TV
Come on,
once.
I have to. I had
Not
to be,
even in full.
I had
Rowan
to be,
Atkinson.
Yeah, I had to be fair with this, because obviously there are some movies in there that I wouldn't necessarily watch myself for Christmas, but Love Actually is a Christmas
Would you like
movie.
it gift wrapped? You seen?
Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen it.
I think I've
Because that's the one that's got several different stories. Isn't that the one where the Prime Minister
Is Hugh Grant? Yeah.
That's it, and
Yeah.
he falls in love with his secretary.
Yes.
That's
aren't
it.
there some like porn stars or something in that?
You're watching the same movie that we're
It's not Love
talking
Actually.
Yeah, no, there is.
Okay.
It's actually played by Martin Freeman, who's also in The Nativity.
Oh
so-
yeah. Because that's it. Because they've got the bed scene, and they're like in between takes, they're just having a little chat and everything.
Do you want to go out for a drink sometime?
That's it. It's really funny. It actually is a really good movie. Although people would put that in a rom-com for the ladies, it's actually a really funny movie.
Yeah. Alan Rickman.
Isn't it got the
you
guy
can't beat
from
Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Come
Walking
on.
Dead in it? Rick.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah.
Rowan Atkinson, obviously.
Yeah. So Love Actually is one that, again, I'd say that is a good Christmas movie to see.
Yeah.
The Grinch.
The Grinch Who
I
Stole
don't
Christmas.
like that. I don't like that.
Well, there's Grinch That Stole Christmas into 1966 animation.
Interesting.
And then you have the
Jim Carrey
later
one.
Jim Carrey.
Oh.
And then you've got the animated one, which
Oh,
has come out the last few
more
years.
modern Grinch, right?
That's the Illumination. Illumination did a lot of Dr. Seuss adaptations. The Lorax, Horton Hears a Who, The Grinch.
Okay.
Can
that
it
sort of
have?
thing.
But you can't
Not
kind of
yet,
like
but
you
they're
can't really have Christmas without people saying the Grinch. And
Cat
it's
in the
become
Hat. Interesting. Cat in the Hat is the reason they don't do live action Dr. Seuss anymore because it was so bad. That's why they're doing animated one. Fun fact for you then.
now this one. Okay, so we're getting to the end of my one. This is my last one on my list.
Yeah.
That I wrote down myself.
Come on.
Elf.
That's your last one.
Well, no, I've got more inside me, but
Sorry.
Excuse me.
You've got elves inside you.
I've got my own movies that I like
Okay,
at Christmas.
okay.
But this was like
These are the ones we can't get brought up for not mentioning.
these are the ones that seem to be like top of the list
Yeah.
when it
Oh,
comes to
okay.
Christmas movies.
Okay.
And
Unpopular opinion. I don't actually like Elf as much as people
Elf.
do.
I kind of like bits of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they tend to show you the funniest bits of it.
I like the beginning when he's like bigger than all the other elves.
Yeah,
'cause he's
things like that. Yeah.
Bye, buddy.
And you can't help
Yeah,
loving it a
that's
bit like, it's Santa!
Oh my god!
See, that's funny the first time.
And then when,
When
it's
it's
like,
every year, I'm like, it's not funny anymore.
it's not funny.
I mean, I did find Elf the DVD in a skip, so take
That
for
says,
that what you
that
will.
says it all. No, yeah, it's my unpopular Christmas movie opinion.
Okay,
I don't
that's
like it.
probably that's why we're discussing this.
No,
you know?
if we're kind of moving on to like comedy
Oh,
films,
well, I'm going to jump straight in with Bad Santa.
that's what I was going to go for.
Bad Santa. Yeah, I
I'm
love that movie.
not so sure on the second one, but the first one was
one
a
is
treat.
just so
It's a treat.
funny, and we even
To this day,
so
yeah.
much so that we even have a wooden pickle that we hang on our Christmas tree, and every year we have the
Ceremonial.
hanging of the wooden pickle.
There's
The
a picture.
lynching
There's a
of
picture
the-
on Facebook. We'll put it
Yeah,
up.
every year the wooden pickle has to take pride of place on the Christmas tree.
Nice.
It's just such a
It's
funny
hilarious.
movie.
See, that's the sign of an iconic Christmas film if you have a tradition that you then bring into the.
Yes.
to the
Well,
real
yeah, I don't know when
Well,
you
we hang several things on our Christmas tree nowadays.
Yes, everything has all sorts of things.
Don't
on.
worry, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, all those. But yeah, so Bad Santa is a cracking Christmas movie as far as I'm concerned.
Interestingly, bringing it to the more recent films. Last year we went to see Violent Night, which was kind of a comedy
Ah,
yes.
that was kind of
Comedy
like comedy
action.
action, yeah.
with
that-
David Harbour.
Yep. Now
Now
that
we're talking my kind of territory now.
yeah, because that brings up so many fantastic kind of horror stroke action
Yeah.
Christmas movies.
I like that it kind of played on like the Norse stuff as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was
Well, I
kind of
like the fact that he was a Norse warrior and he became Santa,
cool. Yeah,
and he was missing,
And
missing his hammer.
yeah. And of course, this year you've got Silent Night, which is out now.
Yeah, that's got the guy who's Rick Flag.
Yeah, it's about a guy who loses his voice and goes on I think it's a John Woo film,
Oh, interesting.
famous action director, produced by the same people as John
That's
Wick.
interesting. I think I've seen the trailer, but I haven't seen anything else on it. There's also another one that I believe, I'm not sure if you've seen it, Jack. Fat Man.
Oh, the Fat Man. That is
Mel
With
Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
That again.
That
brilliant.
was brilliant.
brilliant.
I really enjoyed that.
Really enjoyed that. It was both funny.
It kind of
and-
explained if Santa was real, which I'm not saying he isn't, he is.
Oh, yeah, Santa is real.
But
Wait,
he is,
why is this
if he was Mel Gibson,
Yeah, if Santa was played by Mel Gibson in reality.
Oh.
they explained how he's like employed by the government
Yeah.
to make toys, and they've got like a special kind of
Underground base for it.
understanding.
Yeah, understanding, yeah.
And then a kid hires an assassin to go
Yeah.
and kill Santa.
Because he didn't get his present from Santa. The assassin is funny because if you remember Predators,
Yeah.
in Predators there's an actor.
Walter Goggins.
He plays
Oh,
the
yeah.
the guy in the
Prisoner
orange
guy.
prisoner suit,
Mm.
and he's the assassin, and he's really funny because he's got a grudge against Santa.
Yeah, he's got a collection of like toys from
From
Santa.
Santa, and I think it's because he never got one when he was a kid
Yeah.
or something. So he collects them, but he wants to get his revenge on Santa. So the Fat Man is brilliant. But that brings me into other ones when you've got that Santa type theme. Not necessarily Santa, but back to Krampus. It's rare exports, A Christmas Tale.
No, that
Are
was
you
from
familiar?
Finland.
Did we watch that last year?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It was dubbed, basically.
Yeah.
Most of it's dubbed.
It's Finnish.
Yeah.
And it's where they dig up Santa. and it turns out to be Krampus.
A massive.
Krampus
Yeah, I think we watched
frozen
that
in the
last
ice. And I love that. And I love the little boy that's in it.
Yeah.
Because the little boy that was in it was also in that one
Big Game.
Big Game
with
with
Samuel L.
Jackson, where he ends up saving Samuel L. Jackson as president of the United States, who's being hunted. Whom, if I recall, is now grown up a bit and had a featured role in that movie we watched with you, Sisu.
Sisu, yeah.
I
Interesting.
think he's the one that,
one of the-
spoilers here, that gets shot just before he gets on the plane.
Yeah.
The bad guy gets on the plane at the
That
end.
was savage.
Yeah. I know who you mean.
And I just love that one, Rare Exports.
So we're into the more like violent Christmas films. Like we've gone from the wholesome ones
Yeah.
to the
I've got one.
Okay.
I've got one. You've watched it with me, Jack.
okay.
Where do we stand on Jack Frost? Now, I'm not talking
Oh crikey!
This is-
the Bruce Willis one.
No,
I'm talking about the horror movie Jack Frost.
Oh god, I remember this one.
Bruce Willis.
That's the one with. Is it Bruce Willis?
No, it's Batman, isn't it?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Is it Michael Keaton? I don't know.
I think it is
He
Michael
becomes-
Keaton,
his spirit goes into the.
Well, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I think
I've
it's Michael
seen. I've
Keaton,
seen the killer one.
Right, I was going to say, I can't remember Bruce Willis being a snowman.
I thought it was Bruce Willis. I honestly thought it was.
We'll
Bruce
get to
Willis.
Bruce Willis in a minute.
Anyway, so Jack Frost, you watched that with me.
I did. Oh, I
What
can't
did
remember
you
much.
think?
I remember the bit where he melts and then goes under the door and then into the bath or something.
Well,
That sounds weird.
yeah, that's the thing. In the credits of the movie, it had a quiz.
Oh, yeah.
So you watch it and it says, in the shower scene, where did the carrot go?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That was funny. But the thing...
This is not a wholesome Christmas movie.
No, I wanna talk about wholesome
The thing with
Christmas.
it was it like supposed to be a comedy? Because we couldn't quite make our minds up on it, could we?
Is this
Yeah.
the Jack
'Cause it
Frost
wasn't-
that has the... what's the term they use for the movie cases, which when you change...
Lenticular.
Lenticular, thank you. And it's got the fangs. So you do sort of move it around and it's a nice snowman and then it's a fang snowman.
Yeah.
Well, I
Is
haven't-
that Jack Frost?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
The one where the cover has nothing to do with the actual
Yeah, it just looks like a freaky fanged snowman.
Skeleton
Snowman,
thing,
that's
yeah.
it.
And then they made a sequel
Yeah.
called Jack Frost 2 Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. And it's set in Hawaii.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Neither have I.
We're now
Way off.
the listeners are now they've checked out. We don't know, they don't know what we're talking about.
Okay. In that case, maybe we should bring it back on with the... Every year, there's this controversy
The big controversy.
that hits most social media. And you've already alluded to it because you said you were wearing a particular top.
Mm-hmm.
And your top, maybe the listeners, if you this will give you a clue. If I read it, it says, "Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho."
Ho, 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 ho.
Very good.
Alan Rickman.
Hey, Alan Rickman's the best.
So Alan Rickman was in the studio with us, you know? You're like channeling Alan Rickman.
I've got a little mirror looking at it.
Yeah, it's doing Harvey.
Stay there, Alan.
get Mickey in to see if we
Yeah,
can,
so
we can
they-
summon Alan Rickman's ghost.
That's very specific.
It always comes out every year. The big argument is Die Hard
Oh, yes.
a Christmas movie or not?
Yes.
Personally, I would say yes.
And the second one.
I would
Yes,
say yes.
that's very true.
And definitely the second one.
Not
as
the
well.
third one.
It's set at Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, let's stick with just Die Hard, the first movie.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas party.
Yeah, they're at a Christmas party with
Christmas
Christmas
Eve.
trees,
On Christmas Eve.
Eve with Christmas music.
They say ho 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 on a jumper. It's got Christmas merchandise
And,
now.
and if you recall the scene,
He dresses the person up with Christmas
He's
lights.
wearing a Santa hat.
It is a Christmas movie.
Anybody who says that is not a Christmas movie is wrong. There you go. That ends this
Controversial.
discussion.
If you
now.
disagree with us, please comment below and tell us why,
Why?
you don't think Die Hard is a Christmas
Christmas
movie.
movie.
Because it is.
Die Hard 3 is the best Die Hard film, though.
It's
another debate.
That is
on a
another
sec.
debate.
Hang on a second.
stick by
You
it.
have to remind me.
Samuel Jackson.
Oh gosh, yeah, but that is very
It's
good.
kind of a sequel to the first
That
one.
is very
It's
good.
his cousin, his
and,
brother.
It's his brother.
Yeah.
It's his brother.
And what's him called? Who's the bad guy?
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
And I've worked with Jeremy Irons, and he's a really nice chap.
In
and
what?
he-
Maybe just pick that
in
name
what?
up.
Yeah.
Let
me just pick the name up you just dropped.
Hollow Crown.
Hollow Crown, that's it. And he was a really nice actor, real nice chap, fantastic horseman. And he does a great job in that movie.
But
so-
he can't pronounce beaver. Or bever.
No, it wasn't him.
Is that not him?
It wasn't him. It was
Who's
another,
that?
another actor. I can't remember the actor's name who couldn't say beaver. He kept calling it a beaver. Yes, he's put his... He should have said his beaver around his neck, which is a piece of armour. And he said he's donned his beaver
Oh, God.
about his neck.
And they kept it in. They kept it
And they
in.
kept it in. And I was thinking, I was there, I'm thinking, shall I just put my hand up and say, excuse me, it's not a beaver.
Get
It's a
chucked off set.
beaver. And I thought, no, do you know what? I'm going to just let it ride. And then I'll watch it when it comes out. And it does. And he says, he puts
Anyway, beavers aside, let's talk about...
beaver around his
We're
neck.
covering a lot in this episode.
We are. And it's fun because it's Christmas. It's bringing back wonderful memories.
Oh,
So,
definitely.
yeah, Die Hard. Okay, so as far as we're concerned, it most definitely is. The debate is now null and void. It is a Christmas movie.
That's a big topic every year.
And which brings me to another action movie,
Action.
which is most definitely another Christmas movie.
Interesting.
With, funnily enough, a Samuel L. Jackson in it.
I know the one you're talking
That
about.
is A Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yes.
With
yeah.
Gina Davis. That is a brilliant Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It has Christmas music. It
Yeah.
has Christmas theme because it's set at Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And it's a fantastic action movie. And Samuel L. Jackson, in fact, I believe that Samuel L. Jackson said that the character in it was his most favourite character that he ever played.
Interesting, yeah. And he's played a lot of characters.
I'm just trying to think of the guy, the character's name in that one.
Mitch.
Mitch, that's it. And he is just awesome in it.
He is. Yes.
I'm going to go and get my Christmas list. What's on your Zak?
I'm not going to tell you.
You're looking at us, Jack, thinking, what
I have seen it, not for a while.
But they-
But that's a good one to like
I can
watch
quote-
every Christmas.
I can quote Polar Express, but not Long Kiss Goodnight.
Long Kiss Goodnight. That is one. Gina Davis has done some really cracking movies, and that's one
Deserves
of
the
them.
appreciation. If you haven't seen A Long Kiss Goodnight, do so.
Yeah.
If we're talking about action film
Yeah, go
stars,
for it.
action film stars starring in Christmas movies,
Go for it.
do we talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger in Jingle All the Way?
Well, you've brought it
Wow.
up, but that was going to be another number 2 on my must-watch at Christmas movies.
Nice.
Yeah, I love.
You cannot beat Turbo
love
Man.
Turbo Man. Oh my
Turbo
god, it's
Man.
amazing.
What's the little boy say?
It's Turbo time.
No, I'm going to say when he's saying to his dad about Turbo Man.
Oh
He runs
crikey!
out that list of stuff.
Batteries not included.
Yeah, batteries not included. It's brilliant. It's a lovely little thing.
Kung Fu grip. Oh, I've got that figure. You got that for me
Yeah,
for Christmas.
I bought you a Turbo Man
Yeah.
in box.
Damn. Did you know that you could actually get one?
Yeah, I've seen it.
And I got the magazine as well because in the movie
yeah,
he's
yeah.
got the Turbo Man comic. The comic.
Did you have to fight off people to get it?
That would have been fun. But yeah, when it comes down to Schwarzenegger doing comedy
that is
movies,
a classic Holland family staple right
yeah,
there.
he has done some funny ones. I wasn't so keen so much on the one where he's pregnant, which I can't remember the name.
Junior.
Of that one. Yeah. But when it comes to Christmas movies, that is an absolute classic. I love Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
I remember we watched a film last year. I think we did like a Christmas movie night. I forget what the title was, but all I remember is there was a Santa Claus who was chopping up
Hang on,
elves.
this is
Chopping up elves.
This is the one with Captain Kirk.
Oh, yes, in
William
Bailey Downs.
Bailey Downs.
Funnily enough,
yes.
connected to the Ginger Snaps movies.
Yes,
Right.
Ginger Snaps movie. You're familiar with those?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all based in Bailey Downs, or the first one definitely was. And so it was really interesting to have Bailey Downs come back up in what is a Christmas kind of horror movie. Isn't
Well,
it?
it's a Christmas horror story.
I remember there
Christmas
being
horror
like
story. And then you have William Shatner doing an absolutely superb job as a DJ.
like connecting all the stories.
All the
that are going
stories
on.
together.
I remember
without-
there being like a changelings type story as well, where the
Yeah,
kid
there's
is
the
actually...
Changeling story, there's the Krampus story, and the Santa.
There's the so you got the Changeling one, you got the ghost story in the
Oh yes,
school.
the ghost story in the school.
You've got the Krampus one where it's the family that go off to
Yeah.
see her.
They're all being arguing and everything, and
Yeah,
then they get their
being very unchristmassy.
comeuppance.
And then you've got the kind of zombie elves,
Yeah.
which is the
North
big,
Pole,
which is the big twist.
which is the big twist at the end, which is absolutely superb.
Yeah.
We did talk about this last year.
So if you want to watch something that, if you haven't seen it, do go. and
Something
watch that.
unconventional.
What's it called?
What's it called? Again?
A Christmas horror story.
Christmas horror
Right.
story. Well, in fact, it's actually 4 horror stories. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a Christmas anthology.
Yeah.
And that's really good. And another thing I like about that movie is it's got a white Krampus in it.
Yeah.
You know, they got this really big muscly guy
Yeah.
to play Krampus, and he looks really good. Really good costume.
Very good practical
You
effects.
know, very good practice.
He has a big punch up with Santa.
Santa in there.
The zombie,
We'll just leave it.
the
at that.
zombie elves.
The
are
zombie
hilarious.
elves are hilarious, yes, that's when they're real funny. I'm just trying to think, have we got any other stupendous kind of...
Well, you got Santa's sleigh.
what's-
That's
I remember
where
that, yeah.
Santa is basically obliged. He loses like a bet with an angel, and basically his 100 years of being nice to everyone is over.
Oh.
So he goes around slaying everyone
Oh, dear.
He comes down the chimney at the start with the
And-
Christmas dinner and just
and
ends
murders
up like,
people.
Yeah,
That's,
Remember that being a bit-
that's not the one that's got the weird Krampus in it.
he's a
is it?
wrestler.
No, no.
He's played by a wrestler. Is
Yeah.
it, I can't remember what his
I
name
can't
is.
remember what his name
He's
is.
played by a famous wrestler.
Right. Okay.
And
That's
basically
not ringing
his
a bell with me.
okay, To kind of narrow it down, his reindeer is a bison.
Okay, that's not right. Is
that not ringing a bell?
I've not seen it.
You must have seen
must have seen it.
Anyway, Santa's sleigh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's that
I remember
awful
that being
one that's got Krampus who's got a naked lady in a cage?
Krampus, the Christmas devil.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah. Well, was it as awful as Mother Krampus 2?
No, Mother Krampus
Sleigh
2.
Ride.
Mother Krampus 2 was really awful. Sometimes you just got to get a movie.
I didn't even have Krampus in it.
You got to go. Okay, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna watch this. It
Could have potential.
could have potential. And then you go, no. It's like when you get a book and it has a fantastic lot of artwork on the cover, and you go,
Well,
that could be an interesting story.
you know what they say.
And then you get to the back of it and you go, God, why the hell did I just read that?
Never judge a book by its
By
cover.
its cover. Which is very much like Robinson Crusoe, because I've been reading that recently, and God, it's so boring.
I mean, that's how they get with like the asylum films. Like that's how they get you. They put all the interesting artwork on the front cover,
Yeah.
and none of it actually
That
happens.
is so true. That is so true.
Okay, so what are the quintessential Christmas movies?
Well, I do actually have a list
Go for it.
that is just about to load,
Okay.
and I need to
What
scroll
about you,
down.
Jack?
There's one
If
actually.
you're getting to Christmas and you're thinking, I really want to see this particular movie. 'cause
There's one I've started watching recently that came out in 2019 called Klaus or Klaus, possibly if it's pronounced. It's
Okay.
with a K, so Klaus.
Klaus,
It's on Netflix if anyone wants to watch it, and it's a very nice sort of 2D animation about sort of the origins of Santa Claus.
Oh, yes.
I highly recommend watching it. It's about a postman who's been shipped off to like an island somewhere where there's two warring factions on the island, and he has to get the postal system working, and eventually Santa starts building toys for all the children. It's very good. I
Klaus.
enjoy it.
What was that one with Kurt Russell?
Oh,
Christmas
there's two.
Chronicles.
That
Yeah,
was
the
a
Christ-
Netflix thing. I
Christmas
think there's two.
Chronicles 1 and there's a second one.
Yeah.
Was that with Goldie Hawn as well, is it?
I don't know.
Sure, Goldie
don't know.
Hawn, because that's his wife, isn't it, Goldie Hawn? And
Yes.
she plays, obviously, Mrs. Claus.
Okay,
So
so
I think I enjoyed that one, yeah.
so I've got a list of what I consider Christmas movies.
Okay.
I'm going to read them out, and you can then say whether or not you think it's a Christmas movie.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not a Christmas film, 10 being
Definitely.
the pinnacle of Christmas
Yeah.
films. Okay.
Okay. I do have some Beowulf movies in here, so I'm going to skip those.
Yeah, we're skipping those.
Skipping those because we're going to do a podcast on that maybe
Yes,
next
maybe
week.
next
Interesting.
week.
Okay.
So number 1, Bad Santa.
Oh, definitely a number 10
9.
Christmas movie. Love
Okay.
that
Black Christmas. Black Christmas.
one.
Oh, I've got that.
I'm not
I
familiar
didn't get a
with
chance to watch it last year, but it's on
This
my
is
list this year.
actually a remake.
it. I'm not familiar with it.
It's almost Halloween before Halloween, isn't it? Sort of.
That's the original, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the new one, it's basically a remake of that, so yeah.
Can't
Okay.
comment because I don't know the movie.
Black Xmas, exactly the same thing, but just
Okay.
a couple of years before. A Christmas Horror Story, we've already said.
Yep, that's a good one.
Die Hard,
Definitely up there, number 10.
Die Hard 2,
Yeah, it's Christmas. It's number
8.
9.
Elf,
Elf.
we've already said.
I mean, it's a 10, isn't it? It always comes.
Well, it's always it's going to be a 10 on the Christmas movies list, but for me, that's going to come in at a 4
a
to
rating,
5.
yeah, yeah.
Fat Man.
Fat Man, I really enjoyed that. I'll give it a 7.
Okay, so here's one we haven't actually mentioned. Hardware.
Hardware is not a Christmas movie. It's a
But it-
sci-fi movie.
But
I
has
think
it got Christmas references
it
in
might
it?
have a Christmas hat in it.
Yeah. Well, does that then warrant it not to be a Christmas movie?
No, I feel like
That's
we've
pushing it.
established that a Christmas film should make you feel Christmassy, make you feel excited for the festive season.
Not about a manic droid that's
On a-
slashing people to
On a
pieces.
snowy day when you're...
Well,
Well, not that we have snow anymore, but...
Yeah, I mean,
on
you
a
take
s-
Rambo, First Blood, for example.
That may be on this list.
That's got Christmas decorations in it.
Yeah.
It is Christmas time, and there's snow in it as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that one I would say is a Christmas movie.
Jack Frost, the one that
Well.
I talked about.
Well, that's probably got a lot of Christmas connotations in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's one of those kind of slashery movies. So
Yeah, but it's kind
is
of more of a-
horror Christmassy?
Well, there you go. I don't know.
Jingle All the Way.
Oh, definitely 10 plus.
course.
Yeah.
Krampus. So this is the
Yeah,
this is the
big
big budget
Kramp-
one.
The big budget Krampus.
Well,
Well,
it's,
that's
yeah,
definitely
I enjoyed
Christmas.
that one. Yeah.
Krampus the Christmas Devil, the one we don't like.
No, that's awful. There might be. Yeah, I can't escape the fact that it's a Christmas movie because it's Krampus and it's got Santa in it.
It's a
But
it's a
awful.
it's a begrudging Christmas.
It's a bit crunching.
Here's two that I didn't remember. Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, of course,
It's got
yeah,
Christmas in
yeah,
it,
that's Christmas.
I wouldn't say I don't think it's as sort of Christmassy as Die Hard, but it's got...
Doesn't it go on a timeline though?
Yeah.
It goes over a period of time and it becomes Christmas.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the run up to Christmas.
If you're talking over 60% of the film being set at Christmas, it's a Christmas film.
So now we're going to a very specific Christmas.
No, I want to hold on this one. Does it not start with him getting
Christmas
some people
trees.
with Christmas trees in the back
I
of a
can't
lorry?
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely is
So
a
my-
Christmas movie.
And I've got Lethal Weapon 2 down as well. There may be a very,
the one with
very
it's
fleeting
the one with the South Africans, isn't it?
diplomatic immunity.
It's just been revoked.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
What, do a South African? Of course you
That's
can do
an
a South
accent, it's
African.
fine.
What are you talking about, Booty?
I will not partake.
It's just doing
It's
an
not.
accent.
It's not cultural appropriation.
No.
Uh,
We know this because of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. You're allowed to say, what the?
whoa,
Without
whoa,
being told off.
Careful, careful.
No,
Careful.
you're allowed to say, what the?
We're getting on the PC.
Long Kiss Goodnight we've already mentioned. That's very
Yay.
Christmassy.
That's a
but,
10.
but is that not the same thing you said before? That it may be set around Christmas, but how Christmassy really is it?
Totally. But she's dressed up as Mrs. Claus on
Yeah,
a sleigh with
Yeah, but what
Santa.
percentage of it is Christmas?
She's at a Christmas party before her car
This is
crashes.
the big question of the podcast.
This is what we established.
What determines it
She
to
comes
be
back
Christmassy?
to rescue her daughter, who's at a Christmas concert in
Is
the
it-
church.
I've got a good one. Okay.
It's all Christmas, and they save the day when a massive bomb's going through a huge Christmas parade.
A good gauge I've just figured out for whether it's a Christmas film or not.
Yep.
Would you watch it any other time of the year? So if you watch
Ooh.
Long Kiss Goodnight in the summer,
Yeah, but
does
that's-
that make it a Christmas film?
Oh, yeah, it's still a Christmas movie because let's face it. If I'm and you correct me on this, and listeners, you can correct me on this, but that's not saying Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie because it wasn't released at Christmas.
Oh, there we go.
I think that was
we
released.
flipped on the.
That was released later in the year. I think it was I don't know, May time or something.
But it's almost like I'd never watch Muppets Christmas Carol outside of December. So it's
Yeah, I
like
know what you're
that's
saying, but
definitively a Christmas film.
I suppose the thing is, that is you're watching that because it's but that's the thing. I wouldn't watch necessarily a Christmas Carol or a Scrooge movie outside of the festive season.
So that's what I would say is a definitive Christmas film. If you can really only bring yourself to watch it in the festive season.
Okay.
Whereas if a film you can watch any time of year, does it technically class as a Christmas film?
But then there are some people that have a Christmas in the middle of the year, July the 25th.
And there are some people that have Christmas all year round.
Okay, for this purpose of this podcast,
Okay.
Continuing on.
More questions and answers in this show this week.
We'll get to the end of the list.
it's the Now We Know show. It's supposed to be posing questions.
Mother Krampus.
We should have a.
I'll tell you what, have you ever seen Mother Krampus, Jack? Have you seen Mother Krampus?
You did speak about it earlier.
Oh, you have to lend it to him.
I'll lend
I
it to
don't
him.
want it. I was just thinking we should have a Christmas jumper that says "Now we know ho ho."
Now we know, ho, ho, ho. That's very good.
Sorry,
That's it.
carry on.
Okay, listeners, if you want to buy into a bit of merch,
Christmas
Yeah,
merch.
yeah. We'll
just
sort
let
it
us
out.
know and we'll
Sort
do
it
a
out.
Now We Know, ho, ho, ho.
Jumper.
Or now I have a podcast. Now we know ho ho.
Yeah, now I have a podcast.
Now we ho ho show.
Now we ho ho no show.
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, that's up there.
Okay, so it's kind of very on the edge of Beowulf territory, but
Oh.
Outlander.
I would not say it's a Christmas
I'd
movie,
say it's
apart from it's connected to
Beowulf.
Beowulf Day, which is
Is
well,
this
other
the-
people would call.
Is this the
Christmas
one
Eve.
the Highlander goes back in time?
No,
No.
not the TV series.
Okay.
This is Outlander, where a chap comes from
Space.
space.
It's not Sean Connery one. That's Outland.
No, this is the
No.
guy who
I'm confused.
I'm just trying to think of what character he did. He was the
Prison warden,
prison warden
in Escape Plan.
Escape Plan
With Arnold
What's the-
Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, and wasn't he in? Oh, she was into nothing. Yeah, he's been in quite a few things. You'd recognise him if you saw the actor's face. But he basically is from outer space. He crashes in Viking
Titans.
period,
Yeah.
Sweden, Norway, Scandinavia, let's just say. But on his ship there is a thing called a Morwen, which they kind of see as being a dragon.
Yeah.
And so the story is very much kind of Beowulf with Grendel.
I mean,
dragon.
sometimes it's very on the nose. Like they've got Herot as
Yes,
the
yeah.
big mead hall and
the mead
everything.
hall of Herot. So yeah, it's definitely.
And it's got John Hurt in it.
So is
John
that
Hurt.
Christmas?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay, carry on. Move it along.
I wouldn't say so. That's Beowulf.
Rambo.
No.
First Blood Part
No.
1.
Tenuous.
Tenuous.
I wouldn't watch that as a Christmas movie.
About as tenuous as Prometheus.
Yeah, it's got a Christmas tree in it.
Rare Exports Christmas Tale.
Definitely.
Cool. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. We did mention this earlier.
I mean, I've not seen it, but I would assume that is a Christmas.
It's got Santa Claus.
Santa seems to be the main character in it. So
But then it's
You have to track down Santa Claus versus the Devil, because I remember
haven't
it
seen
being
that.
really freaky. It's like a 50s
I'm gonna have to watch that.
sort of weird kind of
We'll look out for that.
trippy one, but yeah,
Trippy.
it's very trippy.
Or were you just very, very drunk at the time you watched it?
I can't remember.
Santa Claus the movie. So that's the one that we already mentioned that he becomes Santa.
Tim Allen one.
Yeah.
Is that a remake? Because there's an
I don't
80s
think
one.
so.
There is an 80s one.
I don't recall.
That might be the one I'm referring to on this list. I'm not sure, but we've got it upstairs.
There is an 80s one, and then they remade it with Tim Allen.
Santa's Sleigh.
Yep.
Yep.
Santa Sleigh's not one I'd get the whole family round
No,
to watch.
for Christmas.
But I guess it is Christmas, yeah.
I guess it's Christmas. That's a category, isn't it? I guess it's a
But
We
Christmas
need a
movie.
tier list.
This is the one that came out last year, yeah? Santa Sleigh?
No, that's
it's
Violent Night.
Violent Night.
Oh, Violent Night, right. Okay.
We haven't got it on this
Because
list
that's
because
my
we haven't
point.
got it.
Would you watch Violent... To answer your question you posed earlier, because it's the Now We Know show, and I want to know,
yeah.
would you watch a Violent Night any other time of the year?
No.
So,
I would.
So there you go.
Maybe.
So,
No.
Okay, so that's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's kind of fun.
It
You
is
wouldn't
kind
wa-
of fun.
you wouldn't watch that.
It's kind of like
on a
it's
hot
almost,
summer. On
it's
a hot,
almost Die Hard at
a
Christmas,
hot
isn't it?
summer's day, you wouldn't
It's like
be
if
watching
Santa was Bruce.
I don't know.
What's it, McLean?
We're ginger. We like the cold. It reminds us
You
of
get
what
my point.
what we're missing when it's like 30 degrees outside.
Scrooge, no brainer.
Yeah.
7 Brides for 7 Brothers.
Interesting, because you've brought in musicals, and we already touched upon that with the White Christmas as well as the Albert Finney Scrooge, because a lot of musicals do come out for people to watch at Christmas. Kind of a tradition. A good
Singing in
old
the Rain.
musical.
It always seems to come on TV.
Yeah, either between Christmas or New Year's. There's people. I know a particular lady called Tina who loves a musical at Christmas.
Oh yes.
So I don't know. But yeah, I mean they're trapped in the mountains because
And
of the
there's snow.
snowfall. So they're stuck there all over Christmas and to the New Year when the snow melts. That's an interesting one.
Interlude. Which do you prefer, Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2?
Home Alone.
Home
1.
Alone. Well, yeah, I like Home Alone 2's got
Donald
Tim
Trump
Curry
in it.
Yeah, it's got Donald
It's got
Trump
a
in it,
Trump in it, yeah.
but that's the one with Tim Curry. Isn't
Yes,
it?
as the hotel manager.
Oh yeah.
It's got its moments.
It's more bigger scale, the second.
I
got its
don't
moments.
really like it that much.
It's got its
It's got that
moments.
weird pigeon.
It's got Piers
lady.
Morgan.
Piers
with
Morgan
pigeons.
pigeon lady.
Yeah,
It's so harsh.
it's got it's got
Looks like Radagast the Brown.
And they just bless her, because she's a very famous English actress. That lady.
She's also very nice by the end of the film.
Yeah.
You just called him Piers
No,
Morgan.
you did.
You said it first.
But yeah, and you got the what is it? The wet bandits come back in that, don't they? But I think it's the first one. The first one is like it's when you make a movie and it just hits the nail on the head,
Directed
or
by-
sticks the nail through the foot.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Ah,
And then the second one, I'm not saying they're trying to cash in on it, but then they tried made a third one as well, didn't they?
yeah, but
Oh
it was
god, no! They made
was
about
different actor.
they made about 6.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
different
it's-
kids.
Malcolm McDowell's in one of them.
Is he? All right. Because they're trying to cash in on stuff. But the
In
first
the
one is
third one, it's like secret agents and,
Oh,
and
god, yeah, it
spies.
gets
Like
stupid.
the first
Yeah.
one. The first one is the one.
Directed by Chris Columbus, which I'll bring up again later.
Okay.
ooh.
So yeah, there you go. That
Because
answers your
it's-
question.
So last one, Silent Night, which is a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, parts 1 to 5.
What the
Is this not the one that's come out this?
No.
That's not Silent Night. Okay.
No, it's a different Silent
They
Night.
need to come up with better names for these Christmas.
Yeah. They're just trying to make anything that has Santa sleigh in it and things like
Well,
that.
they just brought out a film called Thanksgiving, and I thought you're missing a trick. Call it Thankskilling. I mean, come on.
Killing. You love your horror movies.
I do.
Anyway, Jack.
Chris Columbus directed Harry Potter.
Right.
First one.
Are we considering Harry Potter to be a Christmas film?
Because that has
Ooh.
Christmas in it.
Well,
First one has Christmas in it.
they
And a
go-
lot of people watch Harry Potter.
What's the
as
name
part
of the
their-
village?
A lot of people watch.
They go and visit the village.
A lot of people watch Christmas.
Hogsmeade.
Hogsmeade, yes, and it's very, very Christmassy as Hogsmeade.
It's always snowing.
And they have the Great Hall, which is all Christmassy.
I mean, they have a
And
massive
you go
tree.
down to Warner Brothers Experience to have Hogwarts in the
In
snow.
the snow, yeah.
So,
So yeah, a lot of people do watch the Harry Potter franchise as a Christmas tradition nowadays.
I would certainly say probably the first.
He gets his invisibility cloak as a Christmas present, doesn't
He does. Do you know, I've read all the books, and I'd go as far as to say up to the point where they are forced to leave Hogwarts.
And the sun never comes out again.
And the sun it gets very, very gloomy. Yeah, so up to that point, yeah, I'd see all those movies as something that, I mean, but again, those you could watch any time of the year.
Yeah. See.
But they do have a good Christmassy feeling.
Festive feeling.
And
yeah.
when you're watching the movie and you suddenly get to that Christmas moment in the movies, it kind of is like, oh, it's Christmas.
But it's like is it deemed like
there's a heart in there somewhere?
Is there a percentage of a film that has to be Christmassy for it to be deemed a Christmas movie?
60%.
60%.
Over half.
So, but I wouldn't say that Harry Potter has 60% of a Christmas.
But a lot of people, even on ITV, you get the lead up to Christmas. They always play a Harry Potter every weekend.
So is it a Christmas movie?
There we go.
I think that one's more controversial than Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a Christmas film.
You see, because that's a film that just encompasses it's his school year.
Part of it.
Yeah.
It's a school year, and Christmas is part of that.
So you
just
gotta
as
watch
much
it
as it goes on about his birthday and him never getting a birthday cake up until he is what? I can't remember what age was he when he goes to Hogwarts. Was it 13 or something? I can't remember. But and that's when he gets his first ever birthday cake because he's never had a birthday cake.
Yeah.
So it's just much about birthdays, Christmas, but it does certainly have that Christmassy feel when you get to those portions of the movies.
Yeah.
So I can kind of
because
understand.
much later on, in that kind of secret house in London, they do have a Christmassy scene with the Weasleys.
Mm-hmm. Which is much
in the Sirius Black's house.
Yeah, but that is far more elongated in the books because that's a very short scene in the film. Because they miss out the whole of going to St Mungo's Hospital because Mr. Weasley ends up, after being bitten by the snake, he ends up in St Mungo's, and you have a really big bit about them being at St Mungo's, and you meet Neville's mum and dad at St Mungo's, who have both been mentally affected by the Cruciatus curse, and that's why he's really annoyed with Bellatrix Lestrange.
Because Neville's kind of the boy who lived as well, isn't he?
Yeah, that's where
they really shy away from that.
That's where you're introduced to that dichotomy of, was he meant to be the boy?
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent, he was actually crucial to the ending of the movies.
Do you think the franchise would have done as well if it was called Neville Longbottom and the Philosopher's Stone?
It would have been more of a comedy, I reckon.
Anyway, I've got...
Anyway, so to answer your question, I'm going to sit on the shelf on that one. I'm going to be the elf on the shelf. Elf on the shelf with Harry Potter. But you're right, because with the whole Hogwarts at Christmas spectacular they have down at Warner Brothers, they have really associated it with Christmas. Because let's face it, they must have a huge draw around the Christmas period through December and January to go and see that.
I would definitely consider the first one, maybe two. I can't remember if there's that much Christmas in the second one, but definitely the first one. It definitely feels the most magical of the actual Harry Potter movies.
I would say
definitely the most Christmassy.
As a podcaster, I would pose it to the audience and say, comment below your favourite Christmas films, and below that, do you think Harry Potter is a Christmas film?
Along with all the other questions we've posed in this podcast.
Exactly. So I think pretty much all of mine have been talked about, actually. Die Hard, obviously, we mentioned it.
Yep.
It's a Wonderful Life, which, to be honest, I probably didn't watch until 3 or 4 Christmases ago, but every year since then I've watched it. So it's become sort of a tradition.
That now. Now I have watched it, and I'm surprised I never watched it, but I had my reasons for not watching it. I do agree it is definitely a very, very, very Christmassy movie.
It's funny as well, in my head I always assumed it was that scene where he's about to jump off the bridge. I thought that was the whole film.
Yeah, I thought that's the way it would be portrayed to me.
Yeah.
That was like the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then he was shown the rest of the things from that point.
It's very much just the last...
That's why it never appealed to me to watch it.
It's very much just the last 20 minutes.
That's right.
Really?
Well, I was watching it and I was thinking, well, where's this scene? Where's this scene? And it was right at the end. I was like, there you go.
It's very 40s though, isn't it? The dialogue and
I still think the bad guy needs to have his comeuppance.
Yeah. Klaus, I mentioned, the 2019 animated.
I'm going to go and look that one up.
Yes, I'd highly recommend it. Muppets Christmas Carol. I got Love Actually down. Just cause
there you go.
It's one that my family watched. So
it's a nice movie. It might be considered a bit of a rom-com, but it's a nice movie.
Yeah. Gremlins, I did put down.
Yay!
It's interesting now you brought that up actually, because I never see that get brought up as a Christmas film, like in people's lists of Christmas films. But
Well,
it is.
it's definitely a Christmas
Yeah.
movie, and I'm surprised they kind of don't make movies as what's no better way to put it, but scary for children as they did back in the.
Oh
when
no,
they
it's
did
all
that.
like
I
emotions and
You
sadness.
kind of imagine that if they showed that on TV now, that they'd have to really probably
censorship warnings.
chop it a lot.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, there's one of them at one point running around with a chainsaw.
Yeah. Doesn't one get put in a blender as well?
Yeah, all sorts happens, you know.
Yeah, that is very true.
Then I got Krampus and Polar Express. That was my list.
There you go. So, listeners, what would be your favourite Christmas movies? Have we talked about them? You know,
There's probably a few we've probably missed completely, to be honest.
I'm sure there's loads out there because that's the other thing when it comes to Christmas. This will probably sort of sum up what I'm thinking in my head. One of my friends, Duncan, was married to an American lady, Teresa, a lovely lady, and when she came over to England, when it got to Christmas, I remember spending a Christmas at their place,
Yeah.
and she was, "Where's all the Christmas music?"
Yeah.
Because all the stuff that we have with Slade and Shakin'
Wizard.
Stevens and Wizard and all that,
Don't let the bells end.
The
Oh, you
darkness.
saw the darkness.
Yeah.
The darkness is.
Don't let the bells end.
Yeah.
So I said.
Yeah.
Oh.
As the darkness said, the whole point of that song was to see how many times they could get bellends in it, especially when the children are all singing it. You know, that's the
It's got a
hilarious.
toy
when
robot and the spaceship.
yeah, when you consider that,
Oh,
don't
that's
let
funny.
the bells in. it's the funny bit.
Bells end.
It's like, oh, yeah, that's hilarious. Oh man, you made me laugh. And then what I was going to say is she didn't recognise any of the Christmas music because, like, where's all the Christmas music? Because she's used to listening to what they'd have every year in America. So I'm sure that if you're in a different country, say like the States, they have their own rankings of
Yeah.
what they would consider Christmas movies. So listen to this podcast, they'll probably say, "Oh, I've never heard of that."
Go watch it.
Never heard
Go
of
I
watch
wonder
it.
if, like Love Actually, which is a very British
It's
sort
very
of humour.
British.
I wonder if that's as big
but-
in America as it is over
But
here.
right now, as we speak, there is a channel on Freeview in the UK, which is a Christmas movie channel.
Yeah.
And it's been literally running since September. I think.
Christ.
That's how early it starts. Literally
Every
end to
film.
end Christmas movies.
Nice.
And I've put that on in the past week because I knew this podcast was coming up. Every single movie that's on there, like they're really bizarre movies I've never seen, but they're all American.
Have they done the Beethoven's
they're just-
Christmas yet?
I haven't seen that one.
Snow Buddies.
But they basically all have, man meets woman in small, town in America, and they start to fall in love, and things are getting in the way. And then when you just think they're going to get together, then she gets a job offer to go to New York or something, and it's her dream job. But it's all
And it's
like
called the Nutcrackers Christmas. Or something.
things like that. But they obviously, what I'm saying is they make a heap load of movies.
It's
in
Hallmark,
America
isn't it? Hallmark.
about Christmas.
Hallmark Christmas movies have become like a thing now. So the company Hallmark, who
Oh,
do
to make the cards.
who make the cards, also produce Christmas films on a
'Cause
very,
there's
very
just
low budget.
So many of these low budget Christmas
If you-
movies,
you
they're all
turn-
very much love stories.
If you turn on Channel 5 at a certain time during December, you'll see a Hallmark Christmas film,
So
and they're all the very
what
same.
my point was is if you're in
formula.
a different country, listen to this, you've probably got your own
Yeah,
Christmas movies that maybe we've never heard of.
exactly.
That you
yeah.
just wouldn't see that it's Christmas if you didn't have that.
If you've got any recommendations of awesome
yeah,
Christmas movies, please let us know.
We always want recommendations of Christmas movies.
So to round this episode off, what are your favourite Christmas movies? Just number one favourite Christmas
Who
movie.
are you asking first?
Who wants to share first?
Go for it.
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Okay, that was Jack.
Me?
Yep.
It'll probably be the musical Scrooge.
That was Buzz.
Although very, very closely followed by another one.
And I think that's the one I'm going to say. So, number one, for me, Zach.
That is you.
Yeah.
No build-up needed.
Jingle all the way.
Yeah, you
It had to
covered
be.
that second
It had
movie.
to be. It had to be.
It's very close run on.
I love
that
it.
one.
I love it.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I always get Christmas vibes.
So our top
from
three are musical Scrooge with Albert Finney, Arnold Schwarzenegger in
Jingle All the
Jingle All
Way.
the Way, and the Muppets Christmas Carol. Did you say?
Yeah, Michael
There you
Caine.
go. There you go. And that's our definitive Christmas special
Yes.
when it comes to movies.
Just before we go, as
Oh,
we're
yes.
talking about movies primarily, do you have any TV specials,
Oh.
Christmas specials that you'd like
Oh,
to
Brian, that's opening another. That's a
You've
can.
got to done it now, haven't you?
briefly touch
Oh,
You've
we-
upon?
opened the barrel.
Hang on, if you're listening, Ho, ho, ho.
He's
Okay,
here.
He's coming because
It's
you've just
barely.
opened a whole new Christmas can of
I've opened
can
my
of
sack.
snowballs.
I've opened my sack in the studio.
Yes.
Oh,
The snowballs are falling everywhere. You know.
Jack's snowy ball.
I've
Okay,
frosted
no,
everywhere.
right. Okay, we'll deal with this one. If we're doing TV Christmas specials,
It's got to be Doctor Who.
oh, you're Doctor Who.
I mean, that works, yeah.
Doctor Who Christmas special.
Christmas
What,
Invasion.
are you talking
That's
about
a
whatever they
classic-
bring out every year?
That's a classic staple of like Christmas viewing, isn't it?
Isn't it like the Peanuts Christmas special? That was always like a thing with Snoopy, wasn't it?
Not for me, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The Star Wars holiday special.
Star Wars holiday
no.
special. Now we're
No.
talking. Woohoo!
Oh, God.
So for me, it's got to be things like definitely the Vicar and Dibley.
Vicar Dibley.
Ooh,
Vicar and
yeah.
Dibley has got some superb ones, but the one where she is forced to eat so many Christmas
Christmas
dinners
dinners,
is like hilariously funny. That one, and I also like the Good Life Christmas special, if you've
Yeah.
never seen that.
Yeah, I love the Good Life.
So yeah,
And we mentioned the Blackadder one earlier.
Oh,
which-
of course.
Blackadder one is
Yeah.
a classic. But there's plenty more Christmas specials out there,
Yeah.
I'm sure, because you had, I mean, the other ones that come to mind might be Only Fools and Horses,
Yeah, yeah,
things like that,
yeah.
because they're
They had several, yeah.
incredibly
Why do
popular.
I have the feeling that this is going to be the topic for next year's Christmas lineup?
Maybe we should, because
Christmas
there are
TV.
so many. I do like a Christmas special. You know, I mean, even more modern ones like, was it 2.4 Children or no? What's that? What's the one with the?
2 for children. I don't
No,
know.
that's
What
a
that is.
different TV series. What's the one where the guy said he wanted to attack animals in his beard?
Outnumbered.
Outnumbered. That's the one.
Oh, that's
You know, things like that. So yeah, that's a
like timeless.
subject.
That's like a timeless.
So what we're saying is
Subject for another
the
time.
Christmas TV special coming 2024.
Yay!
You heard it here first.
I have to write that down.
Yes. Okay, brilliant. Hurrah! Christmas is on its way.
So, before we leave, it's that time of the podcast where we choose the subject for our next exclusive
course.
episode for our patrons and YouTube members.
Bring on the
So,
Deer Stalker.
We bring on the Deer Stalker, or Hat of Mystery, as I like
Jack,
to call
you're
it.
back in the studio.
Oh, I'm doing it. Oh, okay.
Have a delve.
Have
Right.
a delve.
There's not that many left in there.
No, we're
chewing away through
whittling them down.
I have to put my whole arm in to try and get one at the bottom of this deep.
That's it.
hat.
Stick it in there.
Right, I've picked one up.
Pick
Ready?
one up.
Just
What's
the
it gonna
one.
be?
Yeah.
Okay.
What have you got?
Okay, I'm unfolding. the
Funny
piece
if
of
it's
paper.
Christmassy.
Oh, it is sort of.
Is it?
Ooh.
Sort of. Ish.
Ish.
It is episode 12, which is Ghosts.
Ghosts, yeah. Christmas, ghost
Yeah,
stories.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes
Ghost
sense.
stories at
Ghosts
Christmas.
of Christmas future and past and
All the
crap.
rest of it.
Yeah, that was the
definitely.
one with Mickey. So yeah, we'll flash back to that in an exclusive episode
Actually,
coming soon.
that was going to be
That was
one of those
only-
things I was going to say about Scrooge and the Christmas Carol. That if there is a movie that can turn even the cold-heartedest persons when it comes to Christmas, it's that movie. And the reason I say that is because I worked for many years with a Jehovah's Witness, bless him, called Les, and Jehovah's Witnesses do not celebrate Christmas.
No.
In fact, they revile Christmas. And we had a TV in the workshop, and that came on, the musical. And by the end of it, he really liked it. But it was because it was all about the milk of human kindness and how you're being nice to people. He'd always thought that a Christmas Carol, because it was called a Christmas Carol, would be overly Christian.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really, other than it being
But
set at Christmas.
But
it's not.
technically, it's
Yeah.
a ghost story
Yeah.
of a man
Yeah.
sort of redeeming himself, and it's all about being kind to people. And so that movie even turned Les's negativity towards Christmas.
Wow.
So there you go. We finish on a
got
And
any-
there we
high.
are. We're going to flash back
you got
to
every-
ghosts in
Ghosts.
our next
Yes,
exclusive
which-
episode.
which is a Christmas Carol. It's a ghost story.
Can we do a Ouija board?
Or a Luigi board.
A Ouija
A
board?
wager board.
A quiche board?
Yes, we'll have to get Mickey in for
We'll
that
have to
one.
talk. We'll have to talk about that in
We've got to get
the,
Mickey.
in the flashback.
But it's Christmas. Leave your Luigi
Sorry.
boards out of it.
That's for Halloween.
Yes, that's a Halloween one.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions of topics or activities you'd like to listen to in future episodes.
That's a ho 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 goodbye from Buzz.
That's a big "It's Turbo Time!" Goodbye from Zach.
That's a festive goodbye from Jack.
Good pie.
Good mince pie.
Good pie.
You can find the Now We Know Show podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Keep up to date with everything ZWP on Facebook and Instagram, or visit the Zak Wylde Productions website at www.zakwyldeproductions.com. And remember to join us on Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access content and exclusive episodes.